Welcome to Pink Caddy Garage. Today we are going to change the spark plugs on our 2017 Mercedes GLS450. It is a twin turbo V6, so I'm pretty sure we've only got 6 spark plugs to deal with here. The car is running great, but it does have 60,000 miles on it. We just turned 60 this week. So I'm thinking it's probably time to change these. I've never done it before, but I understand it's a pretty easy job, so let's learn how to do it together. This is going to be a A to Z video, so we're going to start with the very beginning step here, which is to undo this boot and get this engine cover off, which is going to lift straight up, go down the sides, edges, get it all loose feeling, pull that off, set it off to the side. Next, we're going to need to get our air intakes off, which pop off at the front. Just kind of wiggle those off. All the rest of it just popped off there. These are the retainers right here for putting it back on. Same thing for the driver's side. Just kind of wiggle it off there and then pop it straight up. Next thing we're going to have to do is take all this cowling off, because it is covering up part of our air boxes access. These just pop up, lift them from the front. Same thing on the driver's side, just pop it up in the front, wiggle it off, get those out of the way. Now we're going to want to get this large rubber molding out, which can slip out of the end here. So you can just kind of pull up on that, wiggle it off. It's just held on by tension. All the way around. Now we're going to look at our fasteners. So I've got one of them off, so this basically is going to be the same on both sides, but there's an 8mm bolt that goes through there on the engine side, and then closer to the windshield there's an 8mm bolt there, which I've already loosened, so go ahead and pull that out. With both of those fasteners now out, you can pull this down, kind of wiggle it out of the way, and do the same thing for the other side. Let me show you on this driver's side. When I remember from changing these air filters that this thing is tough to get out. So you don't want to force it, but you are going to have to kind of twist it clockwise as you pull it out, and you'll get it out easier that way without breaking it. All right, now with all that nonsense out of the way, we're going to take off the 4 fasteners, it looks like, on our air boxes. This is going to be a T25 to pull these 4 and the 4 over there on the other side. So let's go ahead and get those off. All right, with those 4 fasteners out, which was a T25 by the way, we're going to pull up on this and then pull it toward you. I don't know if I have to take that off. I'm just going to try to lay it off to the side. Pull our air filter out. Doesn't have very many miles on it, not too bad. All right, so we need to get this air box and associated ductwork off. So if you go right here to the front, there is an E10 for external torques. If you haven't purchased one of those little socket sets for external torques, you're going to need to get one. Anyway, get that E10 off there. All right, with that bolt up, and it won't come out, so I think it's a captive bolt, we're going to start popping this thing up at the back of the air box. Kind of wiggle it, and kind of see where it's pivoting. Keep working it up. That feels pretty loose. This thing still doesn't want to come out. There we go. That's a good seal there, and that is why. So you're going to have to do a lot of wiggling, but you'll get it out. All right, with that out of the way, we've got this big rubber insulator slash hunk of thing. Just kind of work out around the edges, I'm assuming, because it's getting looser. Pull that out of the way. All right, I think we're getting to the point where we're actually ready to do some work here. So there are our 3 coil packs, and each coil pack is held on by 2 fasteners, so I'll get that size for you in just a minute. We're going to take those off, we're going to take these electrical connectors off, and see where we go from there. hopefully there will be a spark plug underneath. I brought the camera in a little bit closer to see how to take this electrical connector out. So this is the front coil. So this lip, just hook your fingernail around it and pop it backwards. It's not going to come out all the way out at that point. I found the easiest way to get these out is typically to just kind of gently grab it, not too hard, it's made out of plastic, and kind of just wiggle it out of there. Now we're going to want to get our connector off, which is, I'm pretty sure, probably more like a normal connector. We're going to push this little tab down here and then work it out backwards. Now I've got our two retaining bolts out. Those are E8s, so that's why you need to buy a whole set of those, because you never know what size they're going to throw at you. Move everything out of the way and you should be able to then lift your coil out. It's going to have a little bit of resistance because of the rubber boot. Kind of just work it off slowly. And that son of a gun didn't come off. Finally did get it off with the help of some angled needle nose pliers, but I'll tell you, I had to work it off pretty hard. So I assumed this socket was going to be a 5H for the spark plugs, but I was wrong. It is a 14 millimeter socket. So if you don't have a 14 already, you can go get one. A spark plug socket is going to have a magnet or a rubber boot inside to hold the plug on so it can be lifted out. This is the condition of our plug. Looked pretty good actually. 60,000 miles. Like I said, the car was running good. The new one though, it does look a lot better, nice and new. So we are going to get that in and work down this passenger side. And I bought another tool while I was out getting this spark plug socket to help us with the driver's side. Okay, those three plugs are in on the passenger side, and they are gapped at 0.029. So they came that way. The old ones were at 0.29, so I left them like that. So you're going to need to put your boots back on now. So just be sure when you put these on to orient them where it is sticking straight up so that the coil can go down on it. And I don't know about you, but I am going to put some dielectric grease in here because I don't want to have that kind of trouble again getting these boots off. So that's just me. I'll leave it up to you if you want to do that or not. All right, so we have our boots on. I'll just show you. There they are, sticking as straight up as possible just to be easy to get your coil back on. I forgot to mention to you, this is the entrance, I believe, to your turbocharger. So when you take that air box off, you don't want to be dropping stuff in there. So put something in to catch any debris. We're going to go ahead and get those coils bolted back into place and plugged in, and then we will start on the next side with a spark plug boot pulling tool. See if that makes things easier. All right, so I have just gone into this boot with this tool, which I've never had one of these, but it is a spark plug wire tool, they call it. So fancy set of pliers, but they are high grip. I really had to grunt and groan, and I got it loose before I turned the camera on, because if I broke this, I didn't want anyone to see me cry. But it came out in one piece, so I'm going to go ahead and pull those other two off. We're going to get these plugs switched out. After you get your coils on and bolted down, push in your electrical connectors, and then these little gray clips just push on finger tight, but then they lock into place. Then it is time to put all these little covers and air boxes and parts back together. One thing to look out for though is, just take a quick look under the hood. All the areas that have a pop-on part, pop on to a little ball-shaped end like that. If you're looking around and you see any of them that have, let's see, a circle, that means that it did not pop off the ball, but instead it came out of the air box or fitting or whatever. So I'm going to pull that off. I think. No wonder it didn't come off. Yeah. All right, so what you want to do with these is find the part that it came off of, which in this case is the base to the driver's side box. You can see you've got two of them. right here and the spot where the third one should be. So you can just slip it into the end here. Yeah, that took 2 hands. You basically have to squeeze it into an oval shape and it'll slide in pretty easy while you're holding the airbox. So let's get all this stuff put back on and see if she runs. We got all the covers and breathers and everything back on, so we're going to start up in a sec and see how she does. Let's look at the tools that we need. I did use a 3/8 and a 1/4 inch drive set with a variety of extensions. As far as sockets, I used an 8mm. We had an E10, an E8, and then a T30 and a T25. Again, the spark plug socket is a 14mm. You're going to need 6 plugs. I got those at RockAuto.com. I use these pliers, needle nose pliers, for the boots. Don't know that I would recommend doing that if you can get a hold of some real plug wire pulling tools. That was much easier. So this thing took about an hour and a half. Probably would have been a little bit quicker if I'd have had that tool right there. Let's start it up. Make sure we don't have any problems that we've created for ourselves. Contact. Make sure you don't have any check engine light or a miss or anything like that. Everything looks good here. It's only 90 degrees. Feels like 100 though, I'm sure. So not a terrible job. It took about an hour and a half. The dealership charges about $380 to change spark plugs on one of these Mercedes. My total cost was just around $68, which is for the spark plugs. And I'm not counting the cost of the tools because now I'm going to have the tool forever, hopefully. So thanks for watching. Hope this helps you.